Psalm chapter 74 in the King James Version. Maskil of Asaph. O God, why hast thou cast us off forever? Why doth thine anger smoke against the sheep of thy pasture? Remember thy congregation which thou hast purchased of old, the rod of thine inheritance which thou hast redeemed, this Mount Zion, wherein thou hast dwelt. Lift up thy feet unto the perpetual desolations, even all that the enemy hath done wickedly in the sanctuary. Thine enemies roar in the midst of thy congregations. They set up their ensigns for signs. A man was famous according as he had lifted up axes upon the thick trees. But now they break down the carved work thereof, at once the axes and hammers. They have cast fire into thy sanctuary. They have defiled by casting down the dwelling place of thy name to the ground. They said in their hearts, let us destroy them together. They have burned up all the synagogues of God in the land. We see not our signs. There is no more any prophet. Neither is there among us any that knoweth how long. O God, how long shall the adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme thy name forever? Why withdrawest thou thy hand, even thy right hand? Pluck it out of thy bosom. For God is my King of old, working salvation in the midst of the earth. Thou didst divide the sea by thy strength. Thou breakest the heads of the dragons in the waters. Thou breakest the heads of Leviathan in pieces, and gavest him to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness. Thou didst cleave the fountain and the flood. Thou driest up mighty rivers. The day is thine, the night also is thine. Thou hast prepared the light and the sun. Thou hast set all the borders of the earth. Thou hast made summer and winter. Remember this, that the enemy hath reproached, O Lord, and that the foolish people have blasphemed thy name. O deliver not the soul of thy turtle dove unto the multitude of the wicked. Forget not the congregation of thy poor forever. Have respect unto the covenant, for the dark places of the earth are full of the habitations of cruelty. O let not the oppressed return ashamed. Let the poor and needy praise thy name. Arise, O God, plead thine own cause. Remember how the foolish man reproacheth thee daily. Forget not the voice of thine enemies. The tumult of those that rise up against thee increaseth continually. Amen. Amen. There's a lot here, sermon upon sermon, but one thing that stuck out to me, places of worship. Listen to this. People, when we go, listen to this. Lift up, verse 3, starting in verse 3, lift up thy feet unto the perpetual desolation, even all that the enemy hath done wickedly in the sanctuary. Thine enemies roar in the midst of thy congregations. They set up their ensigns for signs. They set up their thoughts and feelings as the truth. They set up what they believe is the way as the way. They set up their belief system. They set up their laws and rules. This is not something that's new either. The Pharisees and the Sadducees were very well known for that. Even the prophets and some of the prophets and priests of old that were false prophets and false priests. There were one prophet in particular that I remember, that I remember, and if you know, you can write it down. So one of the prophets came in and said this was going to happen to Israel, and he had a noose around his neck, because they were going to be taken by Babylon. Another prophet came in and said, broke the wooden one off of the other prophet's neck and said, in 2 years, they're going to return. Everything's going to return from Babylon, and God's, going to save them and everything else. That was false. So the real prophet received another prophecy from God and told what to do and tell the false prophet. And this was in a place of worship. They came into a place where they were worshiping the Lord, and all of this took place in there. Oh yeah. And that's not the first time. This happens a lot. So much so, what did Jesus do when he entered the temple the first time in Jerusalem? Or one of the times in Jerusalem? What did he see what was going on? And people say, oh my gosh, Jesus, he was kicking over tables? He was running over? Absolutely. Have I been in places of worships or buildings that have stores even? So so continuing on, these things are not new. The Lord has a way to deal with them. Go to him for guidance, because he's already dealing with it. Understand that places of worship are places to get together and sing, absolutely, and come together, maybe even obtain information for our walk, for your walk, help one another, but also understand with all of that, right? With all of that, the devil is very wicked, very tricky, and very schemy. And even sometimes in the midst of that, he will try to show up and show out. And he will try to manipulate. He will try to oppress. He will try to create and twist the Lord's words into something that is adulterous, that is not what the Lord had said or intended. And how will you know? How will you know? Confusion. Confusion. What we just talked about recently. Confusion. Hurt, pain, and grief. If the place that you're hurt, you're maybe at pain, or someone else, they go there to share, right? Share, be comforted. But if that place is causing the hurt and the pain, why is it? Before we go on, though, what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind when we read over this? How does it make you feel, and what does it make you think?